Monster Hunter World is amazing. This is without question the best Monster Hunter I've played since I started playing back in 2011. As amazing as it is, no game is without its faults of course, and Monster Hunter World is no exception. There are absolutely some things that can be improved, and most importantly some very much needed changes or additions to the endgame that would transform the grind from being a job to something that's a lot more enjoyable. Once you've reached the point where you're hunting down one tempered elder dragon after the other, the game starts to turn into a little bit of a slog. I've maxed out all 19 available /X trees, forged all the armor sets and pieces I wanted, got to hunter rank 100 and finished up all optional quests in the game. So now the only thing I can really do that has any merit, and in my script merit is in quotation marks mind you, is to go for the remaining trophies. In my case this is limited to crowns, guild cards and reaching a total of 50 arena quests. The point being, what's left to do isn't really all that exciting. Most of the issues I have stem from how the multiplayer is set up. Joining up with hunters, finding rooms, the SOS system, investigations, monster health pools, and most importantly, the gathering hub. Actually, let's start right there. Monster Hunter World introduced a new system where up to 16 players can be within the same online session. On paper this is a splendid idea, as now several quests can be posted to the board, and the available hunters get to choose which quest they want to accept. This is never the case though. In over 220 hours I have yet to meet a random person at the Gathering Hub in Monster Hunter World. The Gathering Hub is a really nicely crafted place this time around. It's not really any better or worse than the older games of course, but the fact that 16 players can be all in the same room with their cats would be awesome. Again, this never happens. Why? Because A, unless it's a Gathering Hub specific arena or challenge quest, every time you come back from a quest you will be sent back to the Astera trade yard, and B, which is mostly due to A, most people will never even go to the Gathering Hub as there's simply no reason to do so. You can accept any quest from every single quest spot, including that oh so annoying handler. Seriously, screw those cutscenes. If I had been given the choice to rescue her, she would have died very early on. I'm getting off track here. Monster Hunter is a socially driven game at its core, and this is one such aspect that World simply doesn't deliver on. This is how I think the Gathering Hub could be made more attractive and useful. First up, I think some of the online mechanics should be reverted back to the last generation of Monster Hunter. I'm thinking about Double Cross in particular here. Limit all online interactions to the Gathering Hall. The exception being SOS of course, which I will touch on in an upcoming segment. Add a correspondent to the Gathering Hub for all the available jobs in Astera. By that I mean your farm, bounties, investigations and the blacksmith. And of course automatically return you to the hub after a quest has been completed. With just these small changes, players will be able to use the same space, creating a sense of being able to interact with other players and less of a need to run around Astera over and over just to collect your farmed items, bounties and investigations. Turning off being online in Astera further enforces this by having to go to the Gathering Hub, but with the addition of the correspondence to also make this a more attractive option overall. This will ultimately result in more time hunting and less time running around talking to NPCs. I'm not gonna lie, I really don't like the SOS system. Once again, on paper this sounds great, but in practice it pretty much kills any sort of interaction between random players and feeds right back into the lonely online experience I just outlined in the Gathering Hub section. So what's the issue? First up, the 10-minute timer, where if you were to join after 10 minutes have already passed in a quest, it would make you ineligible for rewards. It doesn't really bear any meaning or consequences other than Zora or Zeno. There are hardly any quests that will usually go past the 10-minute mark anyway, and even if they do, it doesn't really matter either, as once you start farming tempered elders, these quests fill up so damn fast at the 0-minute mark that you really gotta be on top of your mashing game to even manage to get into the lineup. In my opinion, the best way to handle this would be to disable the SOS feature for investigations. Not just tempered ones, but investigations altogether. That sounds anti-hunter you might think, but by its very name, SOS meaning a distress signal indicates that this is a feature to carry people that are in need of help. Investigations stand in stark contrast to that, being a place to power farm materials or grind hunter rank points. Think back to Monster Hunter 4G, where you would make or search out a room that has a level 140 Shagadu to find people looking to farm the same monster, or on Double Cross, where you'd make or look for a room farming those dreaded level 16 deviants. These rooms filled up very quickly as well, but it was easy to find them because you wouldn't end up having to wait for minutes on end just to be greeted with a failure to join message, to then be forced to start the process all over again. Speaking of investigations, as it stands right now and especially during Endgame, there's little to no reason to even want to join up with random hunters for investigations, tempered or not. Yes, I will play with my friends of course because it's fun, but if they're not online, I'm most likely playing solo as it's just faster. I'm not talking about how godlike of a hunter I am, I'm strictly speaking about the logistics of how the whole system is set up. On average, I can take down a tempered Valhazak in around 4 to 6 minutes by myself. With another hunter, and I'm referring to competent hunters, this time will go up to 12 to 13 minutes on average. A 3-man team sits around 10 minutes and a 4-man team averaging 7 to 8 minutes. The online times here are best case scenarios, mind you, as you're now dealing with erratic and less predictable monster behavior due to having more targets on screen, and the occasional card that can always occur under those conditions. Also keep in mind that I'm still referring to firing an SOS, where coordinated play is obviously less than likely. There is no real reason for the majority of players to even bother shooting up an SOS, especially if the requirements are rather strict. Say something like a 4 to 5 tempered reward investigation with 1 feint, a 50-minute timer, a 2-player limit, and a maximum of 3 uses. Let's face it, you'd be borderline insane to send out an SOS in this scenario, as the chances of failure will shoot up so high now that it's not worth the risk to even consider multiplayer. Soloing in Monster Hunter World is a little too easy, and the restrictions on investigation when it comes to multiplayer are a little too unreasonable. So here are my suggestions to change investigations, and tempered investigations in particular, to encourage multiplayer. Disable SOS altogether. Just make use of the Gathering Hub already. Give monsters a general health buff in solo play. I know some people are not going to agree with me here, but they really don't have enough health in solo play. Honestly, I wouldn't even mind if investigations were locked to multiplayer health pools, but I'm sure a lot of people would riot. At the very least, I would encourage more people going online with their investigations. I know it would for me, rather than hogging them for myself, as at the moment, running in a solo will always be the fastest available option. Remove the 2-player restriction. This one just boggles my mind. Why would you want to even further strangle the already non-existent online interactivity, especially when a 2-man team is pretty much the hardest available option to choose from? Pair that with lower feint allowances and it will most definitely get soloed. #offline for life. Hand out tempered investigations when you break a tempered monster's parts. Currently, the only way to get tempered investigations is by picking up tempered tracks. Receiving new investigations by breaking monster parts will only net you normal investigations. This makes farming new tempered elder investigations a very slow process all around. Both are mashing through the SOS requests as well as getting new ones for yourself. This is pretty much where I stand and what I think could be done better and enhance the multiplayer, which when it comes to the fun factor is most important to me in the grand scheme of things. This is a co-op game, there are no real competitive aspects to it, so having fun should always be at the very top of the list. But there's also the issue of quest rewards, regardless of playing solo or with other hunters, so I want to share my issues on that end as well. The endgame grind almost exclusively revolves around playing the RNG lottery and hoping that you'll get something you can use. I'm not calling this a lottery just for the sake of it, as this is, for all intents and purposes, just a straight up lucky draw. You have no idea what you'll get, and there doesn't seem to be a payout system that is monster specific either, like it was in Monster Hunter 4 and 4G for example. Better Things pay out with tier 3 tempered monsters, a tier that is exclusive to Elder Dragons, which limits the endgame to farming a grand total of 5 monsters over and over and over. Let's be honest here though. It's 4 monsters really, because who in their right mind is going to keep fighting Kirin? This is by far my biggest gripe with the endgame grind, that I can't really fight any other monsters other than Kirin, Valhazak, Kushala, Teo and Nergigante. I'm specifically looking for the highest grade of decorations and hero streamstones, meaning fighting any other monster will significantly decrease my chances, if not outright drop them to 0, in getting what I want. I'm not really sure if Rarity 8 decorations and hero streamstones can actually drop from tier 2 tempered monsters, but I do know that the chances are significantly higher at tier 3. This really has a huge impact on your willingness to play the game. I'm used to grinding and I'm used to being at the mercy of the desire sensor. But there's only so much I can take when the payout is completely randomized and you're forced to fight the same 5 monsters who know so often until it drops. The solution here is simple. Promote a few higher ranking monsters to the same tier as that of the Elder Dragons in terms of tempered investigations. Basilgeuse, Blue Layers, the upcoming Evil Joe, Black Diablos and whoever else, just give them a bit more health or some other buffs and promote them. Anything is fine as long as it breaks up the monotony of running the same handful of monsters ad nauseum. This is just anti-humanity in my opinion. Just for the record, in 220 plus hours I have yet to get a Hero Streamstone axe. Oh, you know, the only one I actually need. The drop rate is ludicrously low as it is, but then when one finally drops, it's for a damn hammer. A weapon I have no use for. I have 3 Hero Streamstone hammer in fact. I'm sure there's a hammer user out there somewhere with 3 or more axe stones and has yet to find a hammer one. It's the most disappointing feeling you can put upon a player because you're not earning anything, you're just clocking in hours at the mercy of a very unrewarding RNG system. Heaven forbid you really want to go all in, but let's assume you actually do want to max out your weapons. I have 19 slash axes. To max out augmentation on all of them, I would need 50 warrior stones for the rarity 6 and 7 axes, that's 18 for rarity 6 and 32 for rarity 7, and I would also need 5 hero streamstones for the rarity 8 slash axes. So far, I have 2 warrior streamstone eggs. I know, it's sad. I can offer 2 solutions to this problem. The first one is simply to add an Elder Melder option specifically for turning one useless hero streamstone into one you need. Or if they're feeling that's being a little too nice, make it 2 for 1 plus whatever Zenio point amount is required. The other option is to take away the weapon specificity and just make it warrior streamstones to augment any weapon class of rarity 6 and rarity 7, and hero streamstones to augment, again, any weapon class of rarity 8. Seriously, I have nothing else to do in this game, just let me augment my weapons already. Lastly, I didn't get the chance to duplicate any decorations, so yes, I'm still stuck with that one and only attack decoration. This isn't so much an issue of course, but I still feel that most options in acquiring more and better decorations legitimately are rather limited and stuck behind RNG walls, just like the streamstones are. Just add more options to the Elder Melder because presently the gacha system running on that one is even worse than just hoping for better investigation rewards. Just come on, just give us something. In case my intro didn't make it obvious, I absolutely love this game, but there are still some things that do grind my gears. Let me know in the comments what you think about the current multiplayer aspects. Do you like them as they are, or would you also like to see some changes? Or what your take is on how the endgame is currently playing out, how you're dealing with it, and what changes you would like to see there. A big heartfelt thank you to the few of you that watched this video all the way to the end. If you liked the video, a like would be greatly appreciated, and maybe even consider subscribing if you haven't already. If on the other hand you didn't like this video, don't feel bad for a second to hit the dislike button, that's what the options are there for after all. Thank you very much for watching, I have been Sasa, and I'll see you next time.